I'll fucking say it again too. I don't give a shit.
That motherfucker is overrated.
It really is though.
Yeah, no, I know.
The WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, Jerome and Tanner. Let's do it. Jerome and Tanner.
All about 6'6", baby.
No. What about always love what was the Taylor Hall quote where it's like, you know, some guy at the grocery store tells me he fucking scored 40 goals in the 80s, and it's just like, yeah, it must have been real tough scoring the 6th goal in an 8-1 game or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That's so fucking funny, dude.
Like, don't get me wrong, Gretzky was a great player. Like, he really is. Like, he is one of the best. But like, again, the era that he was playing in.
Yeah, dude. The fact that
it might have been tougher to play against players in that era, but it was way fucking easier to score goals.
The fact that you could cross the blue line and tee up a clapper from the top of the circle with nobody in front of the net and have it go in on a good chance, that shows you how poor the goaltending was.
Dude, it was so bad. Like, when did goalies like start actually like dropping down like into the butterfly and stuff like that? Probably Dominik Hasek, right?
Probably.
So late
early 90s.
Early 90s, late 80s? No, probably early 90s.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like I'd have to watch a lot more old school hockey because I feel like Grant Fuhr is always pictured like being down, especially when he's on the Oilers.
But I mean, he was like, that's also a time when the Oilers were dominant, and he was probably the exception to the goalie rule back then.
Yeah, he was a big reason they were winning too. But you think about, like, I love this one thing that I read about it before and it came up again, and it was like the 1938 Stanley Cup champion Blackhawks team. Like, their first Stanley Cup final game, their goalie was either hurt or sick or some shit, and so they had to get their backup, or
they found their backup.
And he was at the bar across the street, and they fucking won the game.
Yeah.
It's like, that's hilarious. Like, that's the kind of goaltending you're getting that, like, that still won you the game, having a drunk fucking goalie. Beer league is fuck.
Yeah, you're winning games 9-8.
Yeah.
Like, but
you just gotta get close enough to get this shot off, because it's probably going in. It's just on the way there, you might get your head taken off.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to another edition of the WCB podcast. We definitely kicked it off there. Started coming in hot about Gretzky being a fucking chump. No, it's Jeremy, it's Tanner. What's up, guys?
Oh, it's just guy, bro.
Just guy. What's up, bud?
It's good. It's feeling great. We're having a great time over here,
dude. It is late August. It's 1,000,000 fucking degrees out. We are 41 days away from opening night of the regular season. We are 28 days away from the first preseason game against the Detroit Red Wings.
Hey, that's less than a month, baby. Let's go.
Less than a month. So hockey is coming, and hopefully that means we will get some more shit to talk about. Because
hopefully we'll all be coming too.
Oh, Oakley not happy.
The door's locked, so.
Hopefully this will also mean we'll have some more Hawks talk to talk about, because I literally have 2 things on my list, and one we've already talked about, and 2, it is a 20-second topic. We'll get right into it with friend of the program, Ben Pope, talked about how it is more likely that Kevin Korchinski is going to start in the AHL, which I thought I was taking crazy pills or something, because I thought that was the plan.
Yeah, that's what it made it really seem like, huh? Because out of all the guys that the Hawks had on the defensive core last year, like, if we're being really honest, the only one that is young and probably should be on the team still is Vlasic.
Yes.
Where everybody else could use a little bit more time in the oven.
Yeah, and then you kind of see what the moves Kyle Davidson made this offseason. So you got like Seth Jones, Vlasic as the top pairing. You have Connor Murphy, and then the question mark where Korchinski was, and then you have Alex Martinez and TJ Brody as another pair. Now, one of those guys can more than likely slot up with Connor Murphy, and with Korchinski going down, you still have the question of who's going to be that sixth defenseman. And I almost have to wonder, is this like Wyatt Kaiser's spot to lose to start the season or even start training camp?
I was trying to find something. So you'll have to run through that real quick again one more time. So who we have on the left side? You have Vlasic and Jones.
You have Vlasic, Jones,
Martinez, and Murphy.
You can say Martinez and Murphy. I was saying question mark and Murphy because Korchinski played most of the season with Connor Murphy last year.
Yeah.
And then you have Martinez and Brody as that third pair, and you had to assume maybe one of those guys get moved up with Connor Murphy, or if not, they play together on that third pairing.
Yeah.
And then that leaves the door open for
that's right. Okay.
A younger
with Korchinski
player
being down, I think you're right. I think it is like Kaiser's spot to lose right now. But I mean, you can see Isaac Phillips playing, maybe start the season because he's got some game time. Maybe they give Del Mastro the shot, maybe they do like a little rotation, see who wants to really run away with it. Personally, I think it would be great to have Kaiser just still there. Yeah. But that's up to him, right? You gotta fucking play. You gotta play well.
It's gonna be kind of cool going into the training camp with a position battle, really like loud and clear with this defensive spot. And who knows, maybe Korchinski comes out and he impresses them and just is like, no, I'm not giving up my spot just like that.
Yeah, right. But hopefully that's the case. And then all of a sudden is like, PP1. And he's like, oh, I got so many options now because there's not just Bedard on the power play one, right? Like you're going to have Teravainen, you're going to have Taylor Hall, you're going to have maybe Tyler Bertuzzi out there, Phil Kurashev. Like he's going to have so many more offensive options rather than, like nothing against Jason Dickinson, but like he was probably option number 2. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't even on the first power play, which is like wild.
Yeah. I mean, how many, we always left to that stat, like he had how many points last year and like only 2 of them were power play?
Yeah. He had like no power play points or no power play goals. All of his goals were 5-on-5.
I definitely think that I think you're right too, that you'll start with probably Kaiser if he rolls with it, but they're not going to be afraid to do next man up type of situation. Mm-hmm. Because you also have to think too that they're trying to find these younger players that are going to be a part of this decor going forward. I mean, I see Alex Martinez being a 1-year thing. Yeah. TJ Brody, I can't remember. He's a 1-year contract, right? Or is he a 2?
I'll check. I have it right here. He is a 2.
2. Okay. But still, regardless, you have 1 to 2 years that you're going to be seeing a lot of spots opening up on that back end. Yeah. Connor Murphy is up if he's going to be sticking around or not. I mean, there's a lot of defensive spots potentially opening, and it's about time to see what we have in the system and start giving guys more opportunities to play NHL minutes and not just, oh, somebody's hurt, you're going to be the 6th defenseman. Here is 10 minutes a game.
Yeah. It's the thing that kind of that lines up a little bit nice is, so Martinez is a 1-year deal. Kaiser has 1 year left on his contract. Brody's a 2-year deal. Korchinski has 2 years left on his contract. So like, I don't know if they're bringing these guys in to kind of help shape their game a bit because they're veterans and give them like, pointers and then like show them how it's done. But they're lined up in such a perfect way that like once the door for them to exit is open, the door for their next contract is opening as well. Just to, like now it's your turn to step in and take this position and run with it. Like with whatever you learn from these guys, like Alec Martinez has 3 Stanley Cups. Like he's going to have something to fucking tell you.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be fucking awesome. Hopefully they learn a lot. Hopefully it doesn't take as long for them to take over the roles as like their full contracts of these guys. Maybe they start to really just start clicking. Levshunov is going to be coming in at some point too. And if we can get basically, our whole decor being draft picks and Seth Jones, that'd be pretty solid if it works out really well. But I'm sure they'll probably add from the outside at some point too.
It definitely seems like kind of what you're saying there. Like, I think the goal is just to get through these next 2 years
Yeah.
and show improvement and get ready to go, because once Bedard's first deal is up and he's owed his first contract extension, I think that's green light, all in, Stanley Cup aspirations. Let's go.
Yeah, and even like that's the good things of these guys' contracts are ending around the same time. So if they're not fucking in it to win it at that point, I'm sure they'll probably get some more time. But like the Hawks are gonna start looking outside, right? Like they're gonna start pulling guys from free agency or making trades. So they're kind of setting them up, I think, the best that they can, where they can come in, get sheltered minutes, not being, top line or second line like as much as they could, but they can in the AHL. And then they get to learn from the guys that have done it for a long time.
Yeah,
And they're actually up with the big squad.
And I don't know if I'm alone in this camp here, because of how last year went in terms of, where the team finished in the standings and in the lack of offense and all that kind of stuff, and the big goal differential number and all that. But given the situation of them being injury prone last year and having to rely on a lot of their younger guys probably a lot earlier than they wanted to,
Yeah.
in a sink or swim situation there, I think the team did a good job of swimming. Like, they weren't, they weren't winning the race or anything like that, but I mean, they weren't faulting. They showed promise. They gave us a good idea of what they're capable of given the right time to develop and just improve their game. And I don't know how I still see people talking about like bringing in some of these vets as a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that this team is in such a great position to just move on, and it's going to take a little bit more patience from the fans. It's not going to be a quick fix and a quick turnaround like when the Kane and Taze era started, but it's going to be, I think, longer and more productive if they stick to their plan and stick to their guns.
I think what a lot of people mix up with the Kane and Taze era versus this era is the fact that Kane was like the final piece to the puzzle, where Bedard is like the first piece to the puzzle. So that was the biggest difference, and that's when the Hawks started to win, was when Kane came in and then Taves came in same season, and I was like, oh shit, like they're fucking real. But like right now, it's like, all right, we know what we're building off of, and we just got to make everything else fit around Bedard.
Yeah, and like you said too before, you mentioned it before. It's also you had Keith Siebes, Crawford, all these guys developing in the minors for a few years before then, and it's like it just doesn't. While it seemed like it happened overnight, it just doesn't happen overnight. You're gonna have to wait, and you're gonna have to let shit, just develop at the rate it's supposed to.
Yeah, that's why it's nice. Like Vlasic is turning out really well because he's a 2019 pick, so you can say like that's very reminiscent of like a Seabrook or like a Keith. And then all of our other guys that are like prospects are like much younger, so they're gonna need some time because not everybody's gonna make it like Bedard and be like a fucking superstar like at the age of 18, 19. Like we're going to have to wait until they're like 22, 23. And like, hopefully at that point, they'll be like good enough to play the NHL minutes on a regular basis, make a big impact.
There's a reason why Bedard's considered a generational talent. It's because he's a freak of nature. And, exactly what it is. And we have, I think we talked about this last week or the week before. We have so many deep prospects right now with this, KD building up the draft pool again, since coming in, that we have plenty of opportunities to hit on players, and not everybody is going to hit. It's just a fact. Not all of them are going to develop and how they're projected to, or what they're from where they were drafted, but there is enough that enough are going to, and we're going to to see a lot of homegrown talent into this team going forward, and it's going to be the extra pieces are just going to be outside trades, free agency, and stuff like that. It's the second we start talking about like, oh, here's the Hawks' new Hossa, from free agency signing.
Yeah,
that's when it's going to get exciting.
Yeah, that's true. That was the real final piece for the Hawks. I think it was just Kane was the, I guess, final like draft pick that they used.
Kane was like the final like in-house piece that
Yeah.
they brought in that wasn't like another team's player, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then Hossa,
Hossa was what really put them over into the limelight.
Oh yeah, big Hoss baby. Speaking of the future, the Blackhawks have a couple guys getting invited to the NHLPA Rookie Showcase presented by Upper Deck.
Is that what it's called?
I think so. I know it's Upper Decks thing because they do like a lot of pictures for their like rookie cards and shit.
Rookie cards, yeah.
Yeah. Frank Nazar and Artem Leshinov.
Levy, baby. Yeah, Artem.
I don't know why I always get
Artyom.
I always think it's like
Artyom.
Like Artemi or Artem. Like I always get those like Russians.
You can just call him Artie. I like to call him like Levy.
The Artie party. Let's see. Yeah, so I mean that's just going to be what's going on there.
Jesus. San Jose has 3 players going to it.
We got Celebrini, Will Smith.
Yep.
And Dickinson?
No. You're not gonna get it. It's Shakir Makhamadullin. It's the guy that they got in the trade for Timo Meier.
Gotcha. Okay.
And let's see. So there's like a lot of teams have just like one guy or no guys. Hawks are one of the only ones that have 2. Montreal has 2. Philly has 2. Funny that Philly has 2 because one's Matvei Michkov and the other one's Ivan Fedotov, that fucking 6'7" goalie that came over from Russia last year at the end of the season.
Oh,
Pretty sure he's like, isn't he like 26 or some shit? 27. I don't know if he's even Calder eligible, which is kind of funny. Maybe I'm completely wrong on that though, which is he's 27. I was right. Okay, cool. He's not even Calder eligible, but they're gonna give him a rookie card. So that's an interesting one.
I mean, he's still a rookie.
He's still a rookie, but he's just not Calder eligible.
You just can't win the trophies.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. You can't win shit.
Well, anything else for Hawks talk?
No. What? No. All right. I'll just do this. We were talking about this a little bit at the start of the show. So it's the Penguins came out with that, or I don't know. It's not the Penguins. It's just some like Twitter fucking thing, and it said the Penguins Mount Rushmore, and then it goes into a picture of Yager, Lemieux, Crosby, and Malkin, and it says 4,138 games played, 2,219 goals, 5,694 points, 10 cup rings, 2 Calders, 7 Hart trophies, 10 Ted Lidzeys, and 15 Art Rosses. And then they go, without a doubt, the greatest at Mount Rushmore in hockey history, which, I mean, I think is bullshit still. It's not. I don't think it's without a doubt. We were discussing that, but it doesn't matter because I just want to ask, like, who would you say is on the Blackhawks Mount Rushmore?
Bobby Hall, Stan Mikita, Patrick Kane, Tony Esposito.
Yes, I guess you're right. You made it sound like there's a right answer to that.
Well, no, yeah. I'm just saying that's like I think. Are you trying to think about who had like the biggest impact with stats and all that? I think Dude, those 4.
The fucking craziest thing that you saying that is, so Hockey Reference. I don't know if you like pay attention to like how they have like a point share or a point score or whatever. Like if you go into the drafts, you can see like what a player's like point share, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You listed the top 4 that they have for the Blackhawks.
No shit.
literally fucking number 1 actually is Tony Esposito, 2 is Stan Mikita, 3 is Patrick Kane, and 4 is Bobby Hull.
I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
and then I'll just go down the line because they just show top 12 for like Blackhawks history. So I think that's a solid 4. I think you're right. I also kind of wish we could throw like Tays in there, but that's just like recency bias.
yeah.
Absolutely recency bias. I
But I
would
mean,
I
you're
would I
looking.
would hammer home so much recency bias on this too.
Oh, 100%. But I'm
Um,
just looking at career leaders on Hockey
yeah,
Reference. Everything is Stan Mikita, Bobby Hall, Stan Mikita, Bobby Hall, Stan
yeah.
Mikita, Stan Mikita, Bobby Hall. I mean,
But
Steve Wormer.
again, to start the show, we talked about how you fucking cross a blue line, take a slap shot, nobody in front of the net, and that shit goes in. Like that's when a lot of those goals are scored too.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong.
But hey,
Stats are stats. And like I said, I can have my opinion on Gretzky as, me thinking he's one of the more overrated players, but the stats don't lie. He is one of the all-time greatest. And
yeah,
it's just because the era he played in, it's like, yeah, it sucks, but it's like, it's not his fault for playing in there that he played in. It's not like he was born. He decided to be born that time. I just think that he's not as great as the great one, like.
Yeah, he just played the game better than everybody else, and everybody else was just like, "How does he do it?" It's like, "Why don't he just, I don't know, isn't fucking doing it what everybody else is doing?" He's actually.
We have that conversation. We've had this conversation before. You put him in today's era.
Yeah.
He doesn't come anywhere near what he did back then.
No. I mean, that team was also stacked, right? Like Yari Curry, Mark Messier, like they're like 3 of the top 10 point getters, like in Edmonton, but like during every season while they're there, guaranteed. That's kind of like McDavid and Draisaitl, but I think that if you were to put them head to head, like McDavid and Draisaitl, like it's have better equipment, right? Have better training, better nutrition, better everything. That's part of the reason why they're better, but I don't know. It's hard to like throw that argument. What I also want to just not point out, but I actually just kind of want to go over the rest of the top 12 that they have listed here.
Yeah.
So after Bobby Hall at 4, it goes Glenn Hall, Duncan Keith, Doug Wilson, Jonathan Taves, Corey Crawford, which is I think kind of surprising for being number 9, but like that's how good Corey Crawford was in terms of just strictly stats that they're fucking. Dude, shut up. It's goalie week. Leave me alone. Number 10 is Brent Seabrook. Number 11, Pierre Palat. And then number 12 is Dennis Savard. So kind of surprised that, like, a guy like Eddie Belfour is not on the list, but not really. Because I think this is strictly Blackhawks stats. But, like, no Chris Chelios. Who else?
Chris Chelios wasn't really
no JR.
JR surprises me a little bit.
Well, no, he wasn't a point guy. Yeah, number 10 is Brent Seabrook. The other number 7.
Yeah, that's interesting.
No Hossa, I guess. Hossa has a great career, but like it's just his
longevity doesn't fit.
Because he played. I guess it's just like I said, strictly Hawk stats. Hossa was a fantastic Hawk. It's just he wasn't a Hawk for as long of his career as some other guys.
That's so crazy about Chelios. You think about it too, because Seabrook's up there, and Chelios' only thing that he's on is he's 10th all time in assists for the team when it comes to offensive stats wise.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Damn, that's interesting. That is actually really fucking interesting. But yeah, our Mount Rushmore can kick Mount Rushmore's ass.
That's a pretty good Mount Rushmore, but holy shit, dude. Yeah, I don't know.
No, that's a really good one. And I think that's a cool thing to do. It's like taking the best 4, put all their stats and their trophies and accomplishments together and just to kind of see where everybody ranks.
Yeah. I think one of the crazier things, like obviously I would have thought like a original 6 team would probably have the best, Mount Rushmore. But the fact that like Edmonton and Pittsburgh are probably two of the top three guaranteed. And then it's like Detroit, Montreal.
But that doesn't, I mean, no, that really doesn't surprise you though, because you think about it, they're very similar in terms of Pittsburgh and Edmonton both had two of what were considered the greatest players of their time.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying in terms of like being lucky enough to have some of the best players of all time, like Pittsburgh and Edmonton, all of their players that they have on Mount Rushmore came at a time when the league was a much larger like amount of teams. So it's like your chances of getting somebody like that amazing is a lot slimmer than when it's like 6 fucking people.
Right. Yeah.
Or 6 teams, sorry. So like the fact that like during the 6-team era, you don't have a lot more like, holy shit, that guy was fucking amazing kind of stuff, you know?
No, yeah.
But that's, I think, where Montreal gets a lot of their players.
But it's also interesting.
I mean, other than Carey Price, maybe there ain't nobody on fucking Montreal that's fucking like you would argue in the last maybe 15, 20 plus years could be on their Mount Rushmore.
I legitimately couldn't tell you any
weird.
player.
I'm looking at Montreal's now. And
Koivu.
I guess it's not that weird. I'm thinking of somebody different. Their number one listed like point share player. Can you take a guess for Montreal?
Is it recently or is it
his career ended in the 90s? Started in 72, ended in 92.
I don't know why I asked. I'm not going to know that. It's not
Yeah,
going to change anything.
I wouldn't have fucking known this at all.
Who's that?
Larry Robinson. He is a 6-time Cup winner, 2-time Norris, 6-time All-Star. He also won a Conn Smythe, and he's one of the NHL's 100 greatest players. But that's like, I don't know how their point share thing works, but they have him one at 158 points. I don't fucking know. Number 2, Jean Bellevue, and then Carey Price and Maurice Richard, and then Guy Lafleur, Jacques Plante, Patrick Roy, Doug Harvey, Andre Markov. Interesting. Guy Lapointe, and then Ken Dryden.
Interesting.
Right? That's kind of weird.
Fuck, deep dive in these stats is awesome.
Yeah, right. I fucking love looking at it. It's funny. Like I said, Carey Price. I wish I should figure out how they do that point share, like how they figure that out a little bit better.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. Yeah,
too. I'm just gonna go to Detroit real quick. Yeah, Gordie Howe, obviously number 1. Number 2, Nick Lidstrom. Number 3, Steve Yzerman, and number 4, Terry Sawchuk.
You might as well do the other original 6 teams.
Yeah. Well, then I just gotta do this too. Delvecchio 5, Red Kelly 6, Datsuk, Zetterberg, Fedorov. Like those are 3 fucking awesome players that we got to watch. Ted Lindsay, Jimmy Howard 11, and then Marcel Pronovost. When the fuck did you play? From 50 to 70. Holy shit. I love that, like, there's so many guys playing until, like, the age of 40. Like, back in the fucking 50s and 60s and shit.
Back when they were smoking cigs and drinking beers between periods.
Yeah.
I got all these nerds doing AG1 and all this stuff in the locker room and can barely make it out of their 30s.
Yeah, dude. Fucking, dude. Yes. Rangers. Goalie week. Let's go. Henrik Lundqvist, number 1. Number 2, Brian Leach. Number 3, Mike Richter. Goalie week, baby. And then number 4 is Ed Giacomin. And then Rod Gilbert.
Rangers lose.
Ron Greschner. Yeah. John Van Beesbrook, goalie week, baby. Jean Rattel. Gump Worsley. That's a good name. I like that. Harry Howell. Andy Bathgate. And then Bill Cook. Yeah, Rangers have like the worst one so far. Boston, let's see them. The Bruins, easy. Ray Bork, and then Bobby Orr. Damn, Ray Bork is like, holy shit. Bobby Orr, Patrice Bergeron, Johnny Busick, Brad Marchand, 5. Holy shit. Phil Esposito, Zdeno Chara, Tuukka Rask,
Another
Eddie Shore,
overrated fucking player.
David Pasternak, Dit Clapper. That's a sick name. and then the last one is Tiny Thompson, dude. Fucking and goalie, baby. Let's go. Goalie week.
Name's really Dick Clapper.
Dit. D-I-T. Dit Clapper.
He said Dick Clapper. I was like,
no,
what?
I know, right? It sounds like it. Dit Clapper. Fucking played from 1927-28 to 1946-47 to the age of 39. Dude, I love it. Theirs is kind of crazy having like 5 Boston players from like very recent history.
And one being very overrated.
Which one?
Chara.
Oh yeah, duh. Toronto. Let's see. Toronto has...
It's so funny that I forgot about fucking Toronto. I was like, the original 6.
Their number 1 is Turk Broda. And then Matt Sundin, Tim Horton, Bjorn Salming, Johnny Bauer, Austin Matthews, Dave Keon, Daryl Sittler, Thomas Cavalli, which is hilarious because he's wearing a fucking Montreal jersey. Felix Potvin, Mitch Marner, and then George Armstrong. Dude, Felix Potvin, for whatever reason, they're using a black and white photo of him. Like, he played until 2003, 2004.
Oh, they gotta make us all feel fucking old.
Yeah, what the hell, man? Like, is that all the teams, or did I figure one?
No, you did Hawks, Montreal, New York, Boston, Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, they're all East Coast teams.
Detroit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's all 6. All right, let's do all the other teams. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle. Vince Dunn, Jared McCann, Adam Larson, Philip Grubauer. That's all. Dude, top 4.
Yeah, you know who's going to be in the top 4 here pretty soon for Seattle?
I think I know where you're going.
Matty Beniers.
Yeah, he's actually number 10.
Really?
Yeah, he is.
No shit. Well, he deserves to be paid like the way he got paid. He was signed a 7-year, $49,999,999 contract extension with Seattle. Ron Francis just did not want to give up that last dollar. Make him earn it. He hasn't earned it. All he did is win a Calder. That's it. Nothing big.
Yeah.
That is going to be a fucking steal for Seattle. The way things are going, especially with the cap going up, the way it's supposed to be going up. Oh, good for him. Good for, I don't know if good for him or good for Seattle.
I think it's good for Seattle, but good for Beniers to get paid. I'm just surprised that he went with 7 years though. It's just 7 years is also strange because like max is 8 for this kind of situation where it's you're on the team already.
Yeah.
So doing 7, so weird. They
just didn't feel comfortable giving him that term. They didn't want to give him the 50. They didn't want to give him the term. They didn't like.
It starts this season, so it's very odd.
How old is he? Would he have been an RFA at the end of, or UFA? He's a UFA regardless.
No, what? What, at the end of this new contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. In terms of like, because of the amount of games played or some shit. I can't remember.
Yeah. Because he was, he'd be 28 at the end of this contract. So yeah, he'll be a UFA regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So that then I was thinking maybe there was something with that, with the not giving the full 8, but with him being 21 already, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that, but
no, I mean, even if you sign your contract at 18 like Bedard and play the first 3 years immediately, like you're 20 at the latest. So anything 7 or 8 years is you're going to be a UFA at the end of it, no matter what.
It's just crazy that the end of his contract is the 30-31 season. Fuck, time is fucking flying.
Am I going to be? I'll be 40. Fuck.
Another player
who
who signed a new contract, but he will still be an RFA at the end of it. Cole Sillinger, 2 years, 4.5 per with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Decent, signing for them, and it kind of came on the heels of the bigger move, which was Patrick Laine finally getting the fuck out of Columbus.
Yeah, Cole Sillinger, by the way, is the draft pick that the Hawks gave up for Seth Jones.
Hey, shut up.
When did they? Was it last week? Right, Holloway and Broberg went to St. Louis. We were talking about
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going into it.
Oh, they hadn't done the offer
it was
sheet
like
yet?
the day of, when this got posted, our last episode got posted, was we got our answer.
Edmonton finally has more than just a 6th and a 7th.
Did you know that the Oilers reached out to the St. Louis Blues last year about, was it Buchnevich?
Mm-hmm.
And St. Louis said they would, but their asking price was
Holloway
and Brober.
No shit.
And St. Louis or Edmonton was like, no.
Well, I mean, sucks to suck, I guess. Fucking stupid. I just love the fact that the Blues ended up giving Edmonton a 3rd as well.
Oh yeah, and
in 2028.
Yeah, and a player. Paul
just
Fisher.
Here you can also have this guy too. Fucking, they got a 2nd for Philip Broberg's contract. They got a 3rd for Dylan Holloway's contract, and then they got a 3rd in 2028 plus Paul Fisher for future considerations, because the Blues are like, yeah, well, here, thanks.
Doug Armstrong's a bitch. That's why he made that.
It's no Pavel Buchnevich, but here you go.
A little bitch move. But yeah, so Montreal Canadiens traded for Patrick Laine, and a 2026 second round pick from the Columbus Blue Jackets for Jordan Harris. Columbus essentially tossed in the second round 2026 pick as a sweetener for Montreal to take the entire Patrick Laine contract, which Montreal can more than handle.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is going to go.
At first I was like, wow, that's like a fantastic move. Like, Laine being with Marty St. Louis as the coach is going to be great. That team is young. Cole Caulfield and Patty Laine being the snipers, and like the rest of the team is going to benefit so much. And then I took a step back and was like, oh yeah, that's right. Patrick Laine has, maybe some mental health issues. So maybe going to Montreal is like the worst fucking place possible for you to go, because not only if you don't perform are you going to get yelled at in fucking English, but you're going to get yelled at in French and not have a clue what they're saying, but just know that it's going to be so hurtful.
Yeah. Man, I'm pulling for him, man. I hope it works out for him. But then again, Columbus is a small market.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe it's not a market thing. Like, I don't.
We'll find the fuck out. Like he's gone from Winnipeg to Columbus. Now he's going to go to Montreal, which is like a major fucking change.
Yeah, I would say he has a market. I mean, Winnipeg, as big as they are in hockey, they're not a major market.
No,
when it comes to this stuff, Columbus is not a major market. So if he's having these issues in minor markets, will be interesting to see what happens.
I hope he does well.
I do too. I really do,
because I like Patty Laine. Fucking sniper, fucking awesome. But yeah,
another big trade.
Another one
happened too. San Jose Sharks just putting their dick on the table about how their rebuild's gonna fucking go.
Yeah.
And honestly, I hate to say it, I think they might have had the best offseason in terms of rebuilding clubs.
Yeah.
Between draft and some of the players they brought in.
Easily.
San Jose acquired their goalie of the future, Askarov from Nashville Predators, after it was pretty much said, like, yeah, trade me or I'm not fucking playing for you guys because I want to be in the NHL. And I don't know why San Jose never came on my mind as a team that he could potentially go to. But yeah, so they got him, Noel Burke, and a 2025 third round pick, which was acquired from Nashville from Colorado in exchange for Magnus Krona.
Yeah, he's a goalie.
David Edstrom.
Yep, he was a first round pick from Vegas in 2023, the 32nd overall.
And a 2025 first round pick. There are conditions on it because it was originally acquired from Vegas in the Timo Meier trade. So it's
so Edstrom and the first round pick were both in the Thomas Hertl trade. Not the Timo Meier.
Yeah. Oh, Hertl. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's my bad. So that's his third NHL team without actually playing a game.
Yep.
But yeah, the conditions, if it's a top 10, San Jose will have the choice to send their own first round pick or Vegas's, and which obviously depending on what they do, it could go into a 2026 pick.
No.
Or they had to send one of them regardless.
Yeah, it's either they get a choice of either San Jose or Vegas. Because like let's say Vegas like completely implodes and San Jose like over fucking plays like crazy, and then for whatever reason Vegas ends up being like third pick and then San Jose ends up being 8, they can give them their 8th instead of their third. So they're more than likely just giving up the worst of the 2 picks, which is likely going to be Vegas. But yeah.
That's overall great move for San Jose. I mean, they're really solidifying all 3 ends of the ice. This past offseason, I know Grier got a lot of shit for kind of his teardown effect and everything like that, but his buildup has just been fantastic, and it's hard to argue that it, like we said, wasn't one of the best off seasons for the rebuilding teams.
Yeah, and I think one of the good things for them too is like they have Blackwood and Vanacek, but like they could easily carry 3 goalies, and Askarov can get more time in San Jose than he would like anywhere else, because like obviously like their main thing is not like focusing on winning a cup this season or like pushing for playoffs. They're getting all of their rookies, or like Will Smith and Celebrini and Eklund. Like Eklund's not a rookie, obviously, but like those younger guys getting acclimated to each other. Fabian Zetterlund had a good season. Like he's still kind of younger. He's 25. They brought in Tyler Toffoli. They fucking claimed Barclay Goodrow. They brought in Alex Wenberg. Like they brought in guys that know how to fucking play and have won cups and that are going to help their young guys that they're going into the future with. It's a Blackhawk situation. Like it looks great.
Yeah. And honestly, I think
they're not overcommitted. They're almost out of that Vlasic deal.
Yeah.
They're so close. It's like, fuck.
I honestly think Vanacek gets moved before the season. I think a team is going to lose a goalie in the preseason.
I would see, I mean, it would make more sense for them to move Blackwood, because I think Blackwood's their better fucking goalie. And then Askarov has a good chance of taking over instead of Vanacek. I don't think I guess it really doesn't matter. It depends on the cap situation of whatever team
needs a
goalie, because like if you don't care like what, like if you have more space to like work with, maybe Vanacek does make more sense for that team. If you're a little bit tighter to the cap, then Mackenzie Blackwood is a little bit cheaper. I don't think they're miles apart in terms of like skill or anything. I do honestly think Blackwood is a little bit better. He just had some like down years since COVID.
Definitely, it's a 1A, 1B situation between those two, and I think,
and then a 1C with fucking Askarov.
Well, I think Askarov. God damn it.
Feel like we're
He
playing
is,
fucking Dungeons and Dragons with
yeah,
it. Fucking Askarov.
he is going to be the backup regardless. I think it's
Yeah.
just a matter of who is the starter going into the season. Last trade that was made, Pittsburgh Penguins acquired
Another pretty big one too.
Rutger McGroarty
Yeah.
for Braden Yeager.
Yeah, Jaeger bombs, boy.
This was one of those moves we knew it was coming. McGroarty wasn't going to play for Winnipeg, and instead of losing him for nothing, they were able to pick up another. What was same draft pick, right?
Yeah, it's just a year younger, 14th overall.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I know ever since the trade, everybody's been just pumping Jaeger clips, and
really?
just his fucking release is ridiculous. Like he's got a fucking great release.
Yeah,
So,
and then the Penguins signed McGroarty right off the bat too, like right off the rip, because he's going to start playing in Pittsburgh. Like, Pittsburgh's going to be. They have him, and then what else did they fucking do recently? Cody Glass. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Cody Glass sucks.
But McGroarty easily fucking McGroarty's easily like their number one pick or their number one prospect now. And he keeps them more than likely more competitive than them holding on to Jaeger, and like that's been their whole thing during this Crosby era is like being as competitive as possible.
Yeah.
So he helps out. Like that's the big thing.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for a team. It's somebody had fucking said it online. I can't forget, or I can't remember who it was, but it's like it would only be Dubas and his Pittsburgh Penguins to make a trade for a 20-year-old player and still somehow increase the average age of his team. It's like, oh yeah, that's fucking great.
Oh man. All right, let's move on to the final section. We're changing our schedule here up a little bit with our, I'm gonna call it quote unquote favorite, especially for today. But I know we said last we were gonna do right-handed defenseman, but because NHL for some reason decided that this is goalie week, we thought we would do our favorite
don't
goalie.
Fucking forget about it, okay?
Most overrated position, the Wayne Gretzky of positions. So let's spin it. Remember, it's either 4, 6, 7, 8, or 9 because 5 and 10 is overdone. And again, these are our favorites. No statistics behind it. Fuck you and your reasoning. It's what we think. And can we get something other than 6 and 8? Jesus.
Is that what we've done all the time?
Yeah, 6 and 8 have been the only ones so far. So
all right, that's great. I love it.
We are doing our 8 favorite goalies.
Yeah, baby. Favorites.
Tanner, since you are yourself a goalie, you may kick it off.
Hey, baby, it's my week. Let's go. I got number 8, Thatcher Demko. Big fan. US born goalie. Just great season. Ready to see more. May not start the season, but you never know what could have happened if they had him in the playoffs.
Dude, he was a big pickup for me in fantasy last year. I'm gonna stick with the US theme here. My number 8 pick. Let's talk about the all-time greatest USA goalie still playing. Jonathan Quick.
Ooh, okay. That's nice. I like Quick. He's good. I got number 7, Bob. Yeah. Bob's number 7. I've liked Bob. Never really loved Bob. I think Bob is good. And then everybody's like, Bob's overrated. And now Bob is the first goalie to make $10 million and fucking win a Stanley Cup. So, big fan.
Big fan of the program. Let's go. And again, so let me preface this. Besides pick number 1, number 2, and not between 2 and 9, what I've written down could be any fucking order whatsoever because everybody wasn't like, oh my God, I love this guy. It's just meh. So Number 7, I'm going with Connor Hellebuck.
Okay. Okay. Number 6, I got Jonathan Quick. Yeah. Just because, man, dude, 2012, incredible goaltending in the playoffs. I was like, holy shit, this guy's amazing.
Yeah, and then we got to see it in 14. Thanks, Letty.
Yeah.
Number 6, I'm stealing one from your list, Demko.
Okay. Yep.
Just because of, like I said, fantasy came up
Solid,
big for me.
Solid goalie. Number 5, Ilya Sorokin. That's the one Russian I'll put on my list.
Okay.
I have nothing against Russians, actually. It's just literally the only one on my list that's Russian.
Number 5, also taken from your list.
It's fine.
Bob.
Good list.
Bob.
I knew you'd have Bob a little bit higher.
Recency bias,
Yeah. Bob's had a good career. Is Bob going to be winding down at some point soon?
He's 37.
He's 37. Dude, that's prime goalie years, though.
Oh.
I don't know what it is about goalies, but like when they're like 33 to 39, they're for whatever reason just stupid good. You just see enough pucks that you already fucking know like what's gonna happen. Also, when does his contract end? Hold on, sorry. 1 second. I'm pretty sure it's like almost over. 2 years left. Okay. Number 4, the Otter, Jake Ottinger.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I just really, really started to like him a lot when it was, I think, was it Calgary versus Dallas, like round 1 a couple years ago, and like he was the whole reason that Dallas was in it still.
He's my honorable mention.
Okay.
I had one division rival up high, and I'm like, I couldn't put 2.
I did. I didn't care.
Number 4, stealing from your list once again for the 3rd pick in a row. My other fantasy goalie, Sorokin.
Yeah. I just realized that 3 out of my top 4 are division rivals. I think we just see him so much, but I like him unless they're playing the
I have a feeling I think I know where you're going with this. So
okay, so number 3 is UC Saros.
Same here.
He's awesome. He's so fucking good.
I
hate playing him, but he's so good.
Yep. And
the fact that like I for such a long time thought that he was like 6'6" and he's 5'10". It's just like, how the fuck is he so good? And like all the other goalies that are like really, really good in the league are like 6'4" or taller, and he's just like, nah, I'm just gonna be incredible. Is that your 3?
Yep.
Number 2, Marc-Andre Fleury.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Number 2, Mrazek.
See, I got Mrazek 1. Gotta show my love. Gotta show my love for our own goalie, and the fact that he doesn't really care for vowels in his name.
You know what? I had to go with he was our own goalie. You're wearing his shirt when he was our goalie.
I'm wearing his shirt but he's not our goalie currently.
He's the greatest human being.
Yeah.
Of all time. Marc-Andre Fleury is my number 1.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good choice. It's a fantastic choice. I had to fucking do it again and put a Blackhawk number 1 because that's my boy.
Who was your one honorable mention?
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Purely name-based.
Yeah.
Purely name-based. Fucking love it.
All right, let's do our 3 dislikes and we'll wrap this up. Number 3, I got Binnington.
At 3?
Yep.
What? At 3, I got Aiden Hill.
Okay. At 2, I have Jordan.
I know what's happening.
I have Jordan.
It's like I know what's happening before you even said it. Number 2, I got Connor Hellebuck. He's the only one that's really good in our division that I fucking also do not like. And I hate playing him.
All right, and then number 1, I have Jordan Binnington.
That's actually who I have number 1. That's crazy. I can't believe we have the same one.
I was actually gonna look up every single goalie in the St. Louis Blues system and just put them all like 1, 2, 3.
Oh
but
yeah, Malcolm Subban, is he still there?
I don't think so.
The Subban man.
So, all right, episode 287.
It's goalie week, baby.
Fuck. All right.
Dude, oh yeah, I forgot Ryan Suter signed in St. Louis. That's so weird. It's goalie week, baby. Let's go.
All right. Make sure to follow us on all your favorite podcast feeds, the big twos, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but we're wherever you listen to podcasts we're at. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, social media at WCB Podcast, and we will see you in the next one.
All right. Love you, boys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WCB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jerem and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.